Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 6th. It is 6:20 right now. Market's gonna open in about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a few things here to update. And we should be good to go. All right, looks like we're good to go here. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Link is sent out. All right, looks like we are good to go here. So as people join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here on the daily chart. See right there, 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 there. Going down to the 8-hour. Going down to the 4-hour. Down to the 2-hour. Down to the 1-hour. Down to the 30-minute. Down to the 15. Down to the 10. And it looks like we are good to go. So price is currently, oh, it's right here. It's actually breaking past the liquidity right now as we speak. So I've just marked up liquidity here, guys. Closest level of liquidity above is going to be at 39,997. Closest level below is going to be at 38,865. Yeah, that's all we got right now. So that level just got hit pre-market, the upper level. And we'll see what happens here as we get closer to market open. So I typically wouldn't take the pre-market moves if you're looking for liquidity. Maybe look for the retest a little later, which will probably happen, at some point. But there goes the first touch right there, pre-market. Going over 2-hour clean chart, I'm going to mark up 6:30. Mark up 8 o'clock. Go up to the 4-hour time frame. Turn on the high-low indicator, identify structure here. So we got structure here, structure up here, structure down below here, and structure down here. Going down to the 1-hour. Got structure down here. And I think that's about it. We got structure over here as well. It's too low. All right, so that's about it. As I mentioned last week, guys, I'm not going to mark up like the time frame that this structure is marked up on. I'm just going to mark up structure so that you guys can see because price moves past them pretty often, and or sometimes they haven't even touched. So it's kind of pointless to draw, what time frame they're on. But you'll know which structure is the bigger structure and which one's more important because they're going to be a lot wider compared to the 1 minute over here. So with that said, there's no nearby support resistance to current price. I mean, it's pretty far off. So the resistance up here is pretty far off. So we're probably not going to get to that today. And the support down here is pretty far off as well. Yeah, we're probably not going to get to those levels. So I'll mark up some new levels as market opens over here. ATR is currently at 6 ATR. So the volatility is pretty normal for a Monday. You should expect volatility to pick up pretty heavily as we get closer to market open. So there goes our zones here on the clean chart. We'll come back and take a look at this a little later. Looking at the news calendar for today, I don't believe there's any news for today while we're on this live session. Yeah, there's news events over here at 8:30. It's low impact. It's the 6-month bill auction, a 3-month bill auction. Then we have the Fed speaking later today at 9:50, 9:50 and 10 o'clock. For tomorrow, we have some medium impact news, economic optimism index. Wednesday, we have crude oil per usual. Every month they have that at 7:30. Thursday, we have jobless claims, initial jobless claims, and continuing jobless claims. That's going to be high impact news pre-market. And Friday, we have the Fed speaking pre-market. We have Michigan consumer sentiment and the Fed speaking later that day. So there's not really too much going on this week, if you guys can see here from the list. I mean, it's Fed week basically, so there's a lot of Fed members speaking pretty much every day, but other than that, there's not really much else going on. So this week might be a little bit of a slow week with regard to volatility. I'm hoping we get a direction this week. I'm okay with it being a slow week, but I do want some direction. Otherwise, I'm fine with a volatile week and a range. But we'll see. As you guys know, Monday's the day where we get to feel out the market. We'll see how the market moves today. And however the market moves today is probably how it's going to move for the next couple of days for the rest of the week. So there we go. We're pretty much set. We have liquidity there. Again, like I said, closest level below is going to be at 38,965. Closest level above is going to be at 38,997. Looking over here on a clean chart, we don't have structure anywhere nearby price. So we'll come back and take a look once the market has established a range. Otherwise, looking at this here, we don't even have much of a trend. The trend here is starting to shift to the downside. So we'll see what happens here when the market opens up, and we'll start to look for some entries from there. So good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 6th. It is 6:28 right now. Market's going to open in about a minute. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Maria. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Johnny. Morning, Sadie. Morning, Andreas. Morning, Nick. Morning, everybody. All right, there's not really much going on today. So we'll see what happens here when the market opens. Just because there's no news today doesn't mean that there's not going to be any volatility. So we'll see how the market reacts to the direction from last week, and we'll see if it continues to move in that direction or if it actually picks up. All right, we got market opening up in about 10 seconds. We got market opening up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Market is now open. So we got market open right here. Huge green candle here on open. It's pretty normal for Monday. As you guys know, all pending orders from the weekend are getting filled right now. So see where this goes to. Big spike right here, pretty normal. Let's go over here, market opening price. All right, so liquidity right there just got hit, guys. So as I mentioned earlier this morning, I said, look for that retest of the liquidity up there. Liquidity did get hit, went straight to full TP. So there goes the first level of liquidity right there. right up to full TP. So if you guys took it, nice work. If not, it's okay. Let's wait for the next opportunity here as price continues to move along. So we don't have a breakout V3 coming up anytime soon. There's a double body here, but there's already a buy signal, so there's nothing there for us to take. Looking over here at the BV3, or sorry, the PRB. PRB could be setting up here if this candle rejects off the pivot. So we'll just have to wait and see here how this here moves. Looks like the candle is rejecting off it. So we do have a PRB that's setting up over here for a buy. Here's our main chart. Looking at our main chart here, we don't really have much going on. Yeah, nothing going on here. I wouldn't take any momentum divergences yet. I would wait for the next opportunity, because you can see over here we had a buy signal. It wasn't really much of a bullish. I mean, technically there was. So this technically could have been momentum divergence on the opening candle. I wouldn't have taken it, but this would have been the momentum divergence. You want to wait for the next one, because the buy signal came up right here. Trend was bullish. Momentum divergence was bullish. Price retraced down right here. It swung back up right here on the opening candle at 630. So this would have been the entry for a momentum divergence. Obviously, I wouldn't have taken it. I don't take anything right on open. So now I just wait for the next momentum to come up. All right, the ATR is currently at 13 right now. It's a little low. So the volatility has not picked up yet, as you guys can see. Volatility is still a bit flat right now. All right, so we just gotta give it some time. It looks like the candles are moving pretty heavy, but they're not really moving very much. The ATR is still at 12, so it's actually really, really low right now. Typically, for most of our entries, you want the volatility to be at least 15. We'll see if the market continues to move slow. If it does, then that's completely fine. We'll just work with what ATR we currently have, but typically the ATR should be around close to 15. It's getting there. It's currently at 13 right now. But you guys can see there's not really much direction. Price is kind of just sitting where it's currently at right now. There's not really many sessions around here either. Price is currently at, it's above all the sessions for the most part. Because the Asia high, London high, like pretty much all of the sessions are down below here, as you guys can see from these lower lines. So, I mean, it's pretty much in a good open space. So if price continues to climb up, that's fine. There's no red flags up here. We have a possible PRB setting up right here, guys. So this is the PRB, it looks like. Or actually, I take that back. Sorry, guys. I don't see the first rejection. So this is actually the first rejection right here. So market open right here at 630. Price pushed up, came back down. It didn't reject off the pivots yet. So this is the first rejection. Now that we have the first rejection off the pivot, you're looking for a space consolidation candle. Once you have that, you can start looking for the next opportunity for entry. So the first rejection is right here off this candle it just closed. And now you're looking for the space consolidation candle, and then you'll look for the second rejection for opportunity for entry. So the volatility here is actually, well, it's picking up now. You can see it's going up to 15, which is perfectly fine. This is what we wanted. All right, so we got the rejection right there. We got another rejection right here. So the PRB is setting up. It's just not ready yet. We got price coming back down. Back to our clean chart. There's not really too much going on here. So we currently have a new high level right there. So I'm going to go over here to our clean chart. I'm going to mark up structure. A pretty big structure right here. So you can see the resistance is established on the lower time frames. We don't really have a lower level yet. You know what? I'll mark this one up first and I'll come back and I'll make adjustments when a new lower low is established. So there goes our current range right now. It's not a clean range, but It's doing the job right now. So price might be pushing down to the lower level liquidity. As you guys can see, lower level liquidity is right here at 38,895. Sorry, 38,965. Almost down there. The thing you want to look out for is the sessions, though. Because even though price hits liquidity, you can bounce right off the sessions right there. Okay, so there's no PRV setting up yet. I mean, it's still setting up, but it's not ready yet. We had the first rejection here. We had the space consolidation candle. Now we need price to swing back up, bounce off the pivots, and then come back up higher. Hey, Delicia, morning. Yes, I'm not sure if you saw my message yesterday, Delicia. So Delicia was asking a question about opening a business account for your trading. When you guys open up your business account, don't ever tell the bank that you're trading because it's a conflict of interest. I think I mentioned this before, and some of you might have not heard. But when you open up a business with a bank account, if you're opening a business with a bank, like a business checking account, you can't tell them that you're trading because it's a conflict of interest. There's no banks that will open up for you. I had that issue when I first opened my first business, and I had to kind of go in between the lines. So basically, you just tell them that you're doing business consultation. That's really what you're doing. If you're trading with a prop firm, you're not really trading a live account. You're trading their account. So you're doing basically a service for them. So just keep that in mind. If you guys have more questions about that, we can also have a session at some point in the future. I'm creating a module in the course to explain how to do that as well. But I posted up the links there, Delicia. I'm not sure if anybody else saw it, but I forgot where she asked the question. I think it was in the chat. Trade questions. Yeah, it was right here under trade questions. Yeah, no problem, Delicia. Yeah, just say like general business consultation, because realistically, that's what you're doing. When you're trading with Apex, they're going to pay you a 1099. So they're paying you as a contractor anyways. You're not necessarily trading a live account. Um, you're trading like a demo account, and they're paying you for trading the demo account. No, Vimal, no trading. I just said, so business, Vimal is asking business consultation or trading consultation. You say anything trading, they're not going to open an account for you. So don't say you're trading at all. It's a conflict of interest because banks trade too, so you can't both be trading, right? That's conflict of interest. They don't want to be funding or uh, opening things for traders because they trade themselves. So like you can't be trading opposite things. It's just a conflict of interest for both you guys, banks and traders in general, which is kind of unusual because I was trying to figure out like what do hedge funds use for bank accounts, and like I've been using Chase for a while, Chase Bank, and they said that I probably have to speak with JP Morgan, their upper bank that owns the Chase Bank. So I don't know, I'll have to figure that out at some point because I do have to open a business account for the hedge funds. I know hedge funds do have banks, but I just don't know which banks do they specifically use. All right, so this could be the PRB entry right here, guys. If anybody's looking for the PRB, we have the rejection right here, space consolidation candle right here. There's another rejection off the pivot. So if this closes, this could be the PRB entry. If anybody is looking to take that, I'm not going to take the PRB. I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm not going to take it. I'm going to look for following entries that may go in this direction because I'm looking for buys here anyways. So there goes a PRB entry that's currently running. We have a pending buy signal here. So with that said, we may have opportunity here for some sort of other entry. This here could be a pivot scalp. If it closes, I'll be looking for a breakout V3 continuation, which will go in line with the pivot PRB. So there goes a PRB right now. It's currently moving in profit. But like I said, I'm not going to go in for the pivot scalp because I don't really like entering on the momentum signal because you can see how it disappears. The momentum signal came up, then it disappeared. But I'm going to be looking for the follow-up. There's also a higher high up here, so this could be a possible setup for a high-low scalp if and when price gets to that point. But you guys can see over here that buy signal did not close. That's why I typically don't like taking entries off the buy signal. It's typically going to be a pivot scalp, and I would normally take it if it's like a for sure close. But you guys can see over here that these candles are not really closing. The volatility is starting to pick up a bit. And with price kind of spiking back and forth, there's no guarantee it's going to close with the momentum signal without coming back down. See, CJ is asking, was that a valid BB3 at 636? Yeah, you're right. So there was a double body here. I didn't even notice that. So there was a double body right there. There was a sell signal and a red candle that followed it. So I didn't even notice there was a double body there, but that was a BB3, like the actual BB3, not continuation. Right there. It looks like it didn't play through though. So yeah, the original BB3 right there did not play through. PRB here is also not playing through right now. It's currently in some massive drawdown. And that's why I don't take certain entries. So I don't really take the breakout entries anymore. Like I said, because they're just these entries typically come up around red flags. So that BB3 came up around opening price, and then same with the PRB. The PRB came up around opening price as well. So I typically don't like taking breakout entries. That's why I stopped taking them, because they kind of go against what I trade for, right? Typically when I trade, I'm always looking for red flags. I'm looking for reasons not to take a certain trade. But the breakout entries, they always typically happen around the red flags, and it's usually not a good sign, because that's an area of manipulation. Like this opening price right here, I wouldn't really take any trades that are touching it. And you can see every candle here is pretty much touching opening price, because this here is an area of manipulation. There's no real direction here. Price hasn't really confirmed. So until price confirms that it's actually going to climb up for a BB3 continuation, then I'll probably look for entry. But at this very moment, not really, right? So it looks like the PRB is still running, and it's pushing back up. The PRB is almost back to break even. It's still currently active right now and pushing up further. But I'm still looking for my setup here. So I'm looking for a possible breakout V3 continuation, or even a momentum divergence. But I'm going to be using them as confluences. Let's see. So let me scroll down real quick. Medu's asking, is this a fake out area because of the resistance zone at the higher high? Well, if it pushes up higher, then yeah. So yeah, Medu, for this here, if price pushes up into the resistance, then this would be a fake out zone. And then same with the one below. So price pushes down below this area, this could be considered a fake out zone as well. There's actually a new lower low here. So this would actually be set up right there. So this could be a fake out zone down here, like within the zone or even below it. And same situation above here. The fake out zone can have an above it or anywhere within the zone. So you guys can see the range is pretty obvious now. Now that we have structure pretty much marked up, if I zoom out a little bit, you guys can see this is pretty much the range. This range was established right here on open. Price pushed up, came back down, pushed down to this lower low, and you can see where price is actually ranging. So I was hoping that we wouldn't be stuck in a range like we did for the past couple of weeks. But looking at this here, it's pretty obvious and it's clear that we are in a range. So unfortunately, we're not really out of this rangy movement just yet. I mean, we're still stuck in it. It's pretty obvious here just by looking at my markups. I wonder if we're ever going to get out of this range. Because we're getting close to summer, and summer's where volatility kind of dies down a bit. And the range is going to be the same thing, but it's going to be smaller. So I mean, we'll have to see what happens when it happens, but there's not really any sign of this stopping. Especially even last week, last week was NFP. We had a bunch of news events. Price was still ranging like there was no tomorrow. But again, it's fine. If the market does that, we'll adapt with the market. We're currently already sort of adapted with the market. We're able to trade within the range as long as it's not consolidation, within a small range. As long as the range is wide enough for us to trade within, like for example, this range here, let me measure it. So the clear body range right here, like the area where there's no support resistance is about 23 points. This is very small. This is considered consolidation, right? Anything below 300 is like considered consolidation. But if you measure the entire range, there's enough space here to possibly look for a small scalp. You know, it's about 600 points. It's not going to be a big move, but we can possibly catch little pushes up here to this upper range, possibly, or even down here for the fake outs, right? Price might fake out, then it might come back up, and we can trade within this area here. So it's not ideal, but our strategies still work in a situation where we can still trade within the range. The only problem here is that we have the opening price right in between the range right here. So we're not going to trade within this middle area. We'll trade above here. We'll trade below here, but we just won't trade in between. That's really what's going to affect us the most. So there's nothing here right now. Let's see, Medu's asking, would this be a CV if the low is red? Are you talking about this one right here, Medu, 642? Yeah, the low would have to be red here for it to be a CV. Like the low would have to be a red and the high would have to be green because you're looking for price to reverse on you. So right here, if the low is red and then you'd have a smaller green candle, it would show that price is going to be filling whatever push happened from that previous move. So for example, right here, if this right here was a low and this right here was the following candle, you'd expect the next candles to fill this big red candle right here. Right, but it didn't set up like that. So there's no CV here, at least not yet. The trend is starting to shift a little bit. So you guys can see the trend is starting to swing back to the downside. If that's the case, that's completely fine. But you guys have to keep in mind that there is a sessions down here. This is the New York high and the London high. We're getting a double body rejection right here. Liquidity hasn't gotten hit yet, but it's getting really close to it. There is a double body rejection right here. So if that's the case, well, never mind. There was a double body rejection. Came right back up. All right, so price is rejecting directly off the sessions right here, another area of manipulation. As you can see, this is the liquidity. So liquidity right there just got hit that lower level. First time touching. And it looks like it already went straight to, or it's almost on its way to full TP. The thing that you want to be careful, and then it looks like it did. So the full TP right there just got hit for that lower level liquidity. Same with the one above here. So the liquidity over here got hit. Lower level right here got hit. And then you can possibly expect it to bounce back up because it is currently rejecting off the sessions. As you guys know, this is an area of manipulation. If you guys are not familiar with these lines, this green line is the New York session high or New York session high low, depending if it's the high or the low. It's also the London high low. This is an area of manipulation. So you can see whenever price gets near this area here, you can see price gets to it, kind of sits sideways, and then it just keeps bouncing off it until it decides to finally break out of this area. So you can see how the manipulation happens right here. It'll break out. Well, it won't break out. It'll push past it, fake out, touch it again right here, fake out, touch it right here, kind of consolidate a bit before it eventually breaks out of the area. So it's the same thing's gonna happen here most likely. It's probably gonna fake out or it's gonna consolidate, and then eventually price is gonna break out either above for correction or it's gonna break out below for continuation. But you guys can just focus on this level right here. You can see right there, the manipulation is starting to happen and it's super obvious. So just watch to see how price reacts to this level right here, because this level right here is an area where it's going to be a deciding factor whether price pushes away from it or if it stays within this area and decides to churn more traders in. So looking at retail sentiment, it's currently 67% short. This indicates that 67% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So we typically do the opposite and buy. So you can expect a possible correction at some point. I mean, it might not happen right now, but eventually it'll probably happen. Looking over here at CNBC. So we just got an update right here. It says Dow jumps more than 100 points to start the week on hopes of Fed rate cuts. The Fed rate cuts aren't going to happen, guys. So just keep that in mind. CNBC is reporting this, and as soon as they reported it, price came crashing down, right? So just keep that in mind. Whenever CNBC reports something, the market will typically do the opposite. And I don't know what's up with CNBC lately. They've been kind of lagging with like opening up. I mean, it's all right. I'll come back and take a look at this later once it actually loads up. It's not loading right now. But yeah, other than that, there is not really too much going on here. Yeah, Nick said definitely want more of a directional push before a CB though. Yeah, exactly. And some sort of confirmation from the trend. So you can see over here from the trend, it's currently, well, it was trying to shift bearish. And you guys can see the fake out right here that I just mentioned, right? So the sessions right here, I mentioned, watch how price reacts to the sessions. You can see how it pushed down right here to lure in some sellers. As soon as it dropped down right here, price came right back up to basically stop out the sellers. So I wouldn't recommend trading around this area as long as if price keeps touching the sessions, then stay as far away from it as possible because you're just going to get caught in these fake outs. It's the whole reason why I created this indicator here to prevent us from getting caught in these fake outs here. The good thing is that the ATR is picking up a little bit. ATR is currently at 16, so it's not as low as it was earlier. It was currently at 12, 13, went up to 15, now 16. So the volatility is decent. It's not great, but it's decent. For some reason, CNBC is not loading. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the CNBC website might be down, but they just posted an update there just a little while ago. Yeah, Nick said I doubt they will even cut rates at all this year, honestly. Yeah, well, there's supposed to be a change this year. One change is going to happen this year. That's what Powell said. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Whether it be an increase or a decrease, there's going to be a change. So it'll probably happen later in the fall. I don't think it's going to happen during the summer. I think the market's going to get kind of stale during the summer. And it's not going to happen in December or November, maybe November, but either like late fall, early December, early winter. I mean, we'll see. There's no telling because things change like right away. Like we don't know if like some war might happen over the summer. Like, the tension between the protests here in the US, with Palestine and Israel. I mean, there's stuff going on everywhere. So you guys have to keep in mind there's a lot of different factors going on behind the scenes that could affect the market. There's a lot of world events going on around the world. Like the Ukraine war is still going on. People kind of forgot about it, but it's still going on. The stuff in Israel, Iran. If there's a war that's to break out, the interest rates are going to go crazy. Like they're going to change for sure, based off that. But just because based off regular market conditions, I don't think anything's going to change. But say, for example, like World War III comes out of nowhere, because a lot of different actors are dipping into the war, then it's going to be an issue, of course. And on top of that, we have the presidential election. There's just a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that people aren't really paying attention to. And eventually it's going to come to light. You don't really have control of like what's going to happen behind the scenes, but the market's obviously going to be affected by it. Yeah, exactly. Next, that's what he said. We'll see though, for sure. Let's see. Oscar's asking, would you consider it a high-low scalp if the lower low is established and it breaks through? Yeah, I'm fine with trades in either direction, Oscar. The ATR is very low though, just like Madhu said. So you guys have to be careful. I typically only take trades when they're around 15 at least. You guys can see how these candles are getting really small. So whenever the candles get small like this and the ATR gets really low, this just indicates that there's going to be a breakout that's going to happen soon. Because if price consolidates sideways, eventually price is going to have to break out of this consolidation area, right? So that's why you want to be careful with the low ATR. That's why I don't trade during low ATR, because what will happen is you'll be stuck in your position for like a couple minutes, And then eventually price is going to break out. If you're going to be super lucky or super unlucky because price is either going to spike to your TP or it's going to spike to your stop loss. And you don't want to be put in a situation like that where you don't know where price is going to go, right? Like obviously the trend here is bearish, but this doesn't necessarily mean price will keep dropping. Price can easily just drop for a little bit, lure in some sellers, and then spike right back up to stop them out. So you just want to be careful with your entries here, guys. If you guys are getting into entries here, make sure that you have an actual entry to take. You're not just hopping into a random entry, and then you're going to be getting in and out as quickly as possible, like before the breakout actually happens. So the lower level of liquidity right here just got hit, guys. I'm not sure if anybody caught that. Looks like Nathan might have caught it. Yeah, it looks like Nathan and Daniel here caught it. Caught it on the second touch. Actually, yeah, nice work, guys. Yeah, Danielson took it on the second touch, took forever, and Nathan took it on the third touch over here. So when the volatility dies down like that, I would wait for the multiple touches to happen. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter if you took it right away or if you took it on the second touch or the third touch, you still would have hit your TP. But to be on the safe side, of course, you want to be a little careful with this here, especially if it's moving super, super slow like it currently is. So yeah, that lower low never got established, Oscar, so there was no entry there. But I would have been okay with taking it. You know, as long as the volatility was decent, price is moving, I would have been okay with taking the high-low scalp as long as my other confluences were met. All right, so we have the sell signal here. Price came down, retraced. The entry could have been right here for the momentum divergence, but there was no trend yet. So obviously I wouldn't have messed with it. I mean, it looks like price is probably just going to sit down here for a bit. Once a new lower low gets established, I'll mark up more structure. But here's our clean chart. So there's currently a pending lower low right here. So if this lower low gets established and there's a new high that establishes at some point after, I'll mark up structure down here. I'll just mark it up for now like that. And if I need to make adjustments, I will. Because if you keep dropping lower, there's just gonna be a new low there. Yeah, nice. So Madhu said he took it on paper trading. Price wasn't moving enough for him. Yeah. I wouldn't have messed with it either, Madhu. That's a smart decision. Because the last thing, I think that's the worst feeling, right? Right. When you enter a position and then you start to realize that there's a lot of red flags there, like low volatility, consolidating price. And then you start to see things and you're like, and you start to doubt the position, right? Only take a position if you're like super comfortable about it and you're okay with the outcome, whether it be a good outcome or a bad outcome. That's the only time I'd be comfortable with taking any positions here. So this lower low here just got pushed down lower, as you guys can tell. I'm going to take this off. And we're going to have to wait for the low to be established until we mark up new structure. So we're having some direction here. It's just a really slow direction. You guys can see from these current candles here, these candles are super small. They're all like small dojis, just going slowly to the downside. And then you have price kind of trying to push up, but it's not strong enough to push right back up. ATR is currently at 13 right now, still very low. So as you guys can see here, this is kind of what to expect for this week. You know, we might get some direction this week, but it might be slow direction. And you can see the correction right here is now happening to the upside. The volatility is picking back up. ATR is currently at 14 right now. So real quick. See. Sorry, guys, I'm just responding to some emails or Discord messages right now. There's not really much going on here right now. Ah, man, this market. I was gonna say this market sucks, but it's like the same situation every day. The market is super unpredictable. Someone's not getting the emails. There's nothing going on right now, anyways. Yeah, so he said the real test is sitting and watching this chart. Exactly. That's really what it is. It's just a discipline. Uh, it's a discipline that comes with waiting for this here to provide you something to actually look at. So you can see prices pretty much consolidating right here. We now have a new high that's been established, so we can draw structure down below. So we have a new low here, or an established low. And you guys can see here is the new structure. This price continues to move back and forth. All right, so we have price pushing up, but it's currently at the sessions right now. Not really much here to work with. I was hoping the buy signal would close because if price does come back down further, we can possibly look for a momentum divergence back down. We're going to break out V3 continuation, but the volatility is starting to pick up slightly. It's going to be a matter of time. Just going to be a matter of time until we get some opportunities here. So the buy signal did come up. That's exactly what we were looking for. Now we are just waiting for some opportunities to come in. All right, sorry guys, I'm done answering questions right now. Now that the market's picking up a little bit, I'll focus a little more on the chart here. All right, so looking over here, we currently have a buy signal that's just come up. Price is pushing back up, which is completely fine. This is what we wanted. This could be a possible breakout V3 continuation pattern. It's not one I would take because it's not in the direction of the trend. So the trend here is still technically bearish at the moment. It's just not It's just not there yet. And as soon as I said I was going to stop responding to DMs, I'm getting a bunch of random DMs now. I need to figure out a way to turn off the thing. Do you guys know how to do that? Or actually, I'll just mess with it later. I'm trying to turn off the, let me see if I can find it, the sound. Um, I wish there was a mute button here. Still there. I'll do it later. All right, so looking at this right here, guys, we don't have any entries available yet. We will continue to start looking for new opportunities here. Let's see how far prices push up since here. Pushed up only a few points. We do have the trend here that is starting to shift a little bit. Man, this market sucks. All right, so we got price in between the sessions and the opening price right here. Here's our clean chart. As you guys can see, price is currently at the resistance right now. So it's rejecting directly off the resistance. We have a double body rejection right there off the resistance. So we might have a correction back down. We might not. I mean, who knows? Price is currently at the upper level of the resistance point. So looking over here at our clean chart, this is the current range. The range is between these two levels right here. So there's two different scenarios that can come up here. One of the scenarios is price bounces off this resistance, and then it comes right back down to the range down here. That's going to be the first scenario. The second scenario is price will come up, it'll fake out around this area, and then it'll pull back into this range down here. The third scenario is price breaks out of this and continues climbing up to the next level of resistance, right? So there's too many scenarios here. So I'm not really looking for anything to take here at this very moment because there's just too many scenarios. For one, price can come below, pull back into the range. For two, price can push up, fake out, and then come back into the range. And three, price can just push up and push up to the next level, right? There's just a lot of areas here where there's uncertainty. And that's not the type of market that you want to trade in, right? You want to trade in a market where you have some sort of certainty, you know which direction price will probably go. But right now, just looking at where the price is currently at, the trend isn't really strong. So until the trend picks up and there's some sort of direction, then I'll start looking for some entries. Like for example, here, if price decides to come back down into the range and we get a sell signal, then perfect. You know, at that point, I'll look for some sells. But right now, at this very moment, the trend here is trying to shift, but it's not really having much luck. Price pushed above the pivots, and now it's stuck here consolidating. So I would need price to push below, and then I'll probably look for some entries down here for some sells if that becomes the situation. If not, then I'm not going to take anything because the trend here is not very strong. But personally, I think I'd be okay with taking some sells here if price does come back below. Yeah, Sadie said low ATR. Nick said 10 minutes rejecting off the pivots might be a good buy later on. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Nick said he's been taking the same strategies on gold and NQ. Seems to move when US30 isn't. Seems to be working out. Using a paper account for now, but just testing. Yeah, no, definitely. And that's something you guys can do as well. As you guys know, these strategies work for all assets. So as long as the asset is volatile and it moves, these momentum type strategies work for pretty much everything. For me personally, I've been trading YM for so long that this is all I trade. And I've just learned to be disciplined, right? I've learned to be disciplined and just wait for the days, especially if the days aren't moving in your favor. Like right now, the volatility is kind of there. It's sort of there, but it's not really there. It's not consistent. So you can see that there's some sort of direction here, but price will pull back into the range, just like how it's doing right here. Price is finally pulling back into the range down below. We currently have a sell signal here that's pending. Obviously, I would not take the sell signal by itself because it is touching these sessions there. This would be a pivot scalp type entry. I'd look for the possible breakout V3 continuation. Also, there's a lower low down here, so this can be a possible high-low scalp. And you can see there's a lot of things here that are starting to kind of pile up. But the sell signal would have to close in order for me to start looking for some sort of opportunity there for a sell. Right. I think the main catalyst here would be that sell signal. If that sell signal closes, we can start looking for some possible sells. But if it doesn't close, like right here, for example, you can see it's not closing. That's where it becomes an issue because we're not going to be having any opportunities here for a sell until it actually closes. And again, you guys can see right here on the green line, this is where manipulation happens. And this is why we typically don't trade when price is near the sessions like this. Okay, so we currently have a sell signal right here. Price isn't necessarily coming down, but we do have a sell signal that's invalid. There's not going to be a breakout V3 here, continuation, because either way, it's going to be touching the sessions if it does come back down. So there's no breakout V3 continuation there. Price is pretty much doing what we expected. So let's go back to our clean chart. So you guys can see here the first scenario that I drew up. I said price will probably bounce off this area because we have a double body rejection, and then it'll probably pull back into the range. And that's exactly what happened, right? The other scenario was the opposite direction, which didn't happen. So now that we have this here, we can possibly look for some sells as long as we start to have some sort of direction and confluence to the downside. The main problem with this here that I'm looking at is that the momentum is bearish, but we're not going to have enough space here for the momentum here to diverge, right? Because we would want to see this kind of come down a little bit, retrace up, and then come right back down. We don't have it yet, but one second, guys, sorry. All right. Clear my throat. Frustrating market. Okay, so there's still no entries here. I know something will come up though. Something is bound to come up. We have well, we wouldn't take that as a breakout V3 continuation, but we do have price kind of just sitting around this area right here. All right, so we're getting the divergence back up. We have another buy signal, but you guys can see price is pretty much just ranging around this area. It's ranging within the range. So price is within the range right now. Looks like price is faking out, coming back up to this upper level. Price came down, faked out right here, come back up, fake out right here, come back down, fake out until it decides to choose a direction, right? The direction is going to be chosen eventually. It's just a matter of time until that happens, but it's not ready yet. There's no other liquidity that's nearby current price. You guys can see all of the levels of liquidity here already got hit. So we got the upper level here, mid level right here, lower level down here. All levels have been hit. Yeah, other than that, just keep watching here for anything here to happen. So let's see if we get a shift in trend here. Personally, I'd like to take some buys, so I'm okay with it pushing up higher. Let me take a look at the bigger picture. One second, guys. All right, so looking at this over here, let's take a look at the bigger picture to see if the buy would be more viable. So looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 66% short. So obviously I would be looking for some buys here with regard to retail sentiment. Looking over here at CNBC finally loaded up. There's something wrong with the CNBC website right now, guys. It's just not loading up. But right now you can see the fundamentals are currently up 150 points. I'll come back to this again later, but you guys can see it's just not loading. Looking over here at the technicals, so the technicals over here on the 1 minute are bullish or trying to be bullish. 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hours bullish. So everything is pointing towards a buy here. So personally, I would be looking for a possible buy entry if possible. The trend here is starting to shift on the 1 minute. So we have a buy signal here. The trend has not confirmed yet. We can possibly look for price to continue climbing up higher from this point. Maybe retrace a little bit and then come right back up. That is the setup that I would personally be looking for, because we still need the trend here to confirm. Once the trend is confirmed, we can start looking for some buys here. But at this very moment, it's still within the range. Price is kind of just ranging between opening price, which is this area right here, and the session, which is this area down below here. So it's, I mean, for the most part, it's kind of just a back and forth between these two right here. So we got the trend over here, which is attempting to swing to the upside. But realistically, it's just going back and forth. So back to our clean chart here, you guys can see the fake out happen right here. Price faked out, pulled back into the range. So now that you know that price is ranging here, just keep looking out for the fake outs. So price pretty much faked out right here, pulled back below, faked out right here, pulled back above, faked out right here, and now it's back into the range. So, I mean, at this point, we're just waiting. We're waiting for some sort of direction here to be established. It's currently 7:17 right now. We still have a decent amount of time until like 7:40. So I do anticipate some sort of confirmation here to come up. There might be a breakout V3 continuation right here if anybody's looking to take it. I think I'd be okay with taking this as long as it doesn't touch the sessions. It's got to come down like as a pretty, never mind, take that back. So it touched the sessions right there. If this closed as a decent red candle, I would have been okay because the divergence here is bearish. It would have just met criteria, but it's not. It's touching the sessions there, so, and it's not looking like it's going to close red. It's 15 seconds left on it. Again, it's touching the sessions, not something I'd mess with. So you guys can see the market's basically playing games right now. It's playing games with majority of retail traders, because you guys can see the setups we're looking for they look like they're planning out, but then they just pull right back into the range. So back to our clean chart, you guys can see a lot of people here are probably getting screwed, right? So people who are chasing the buys here, they're getting screwed because price comes right back down, they get stopped out. People who are chasing the sells here get screwed because price pushes right back up. And then people who try to chase the buys here, they get screwed. So that's like 3 back-to-back losses if anybody was chasing these movements here. That's why I always recommend that you don't chase the movement. Let the setup come to you and just look for the confluences. Because if you chase the movement, this is where you get burnt in this market. So price pushed up. If you chase the buy here, burnt. Chase the sell, burnt. Chase the buy, burnt. Chase the sell again right here, burnt again. And that's just, it's normal for the market, especially because the volatility is so low. So you can see over here, the ATR is currently at 13. So there's not really too much going on. I mean, realistically, it's just a sideways market. This is normal for low ATR. And the range for this right here is not very wide. It's like less than 30 points. So as you guys can see, this is why the ATR is super important. A lot of people don't focus on the ATR. I don't know anybody else who actually even uses the ATR. I mean, personally, I don't know. I don't really watch any other traders, but from what people have mentioned, I don't see anybody else who uses the ATR. The ATR is a really strong tool to identify, when to enter trades and when not to, because it pretty much tells you, like, you wouldn't even have to look at the candle. If you just look at the ATR and it's 13, you would already know that, okay, price is probably just going sideways. Because if it was higher and it was climbing, the ATR would be higher because it just keeps going higher and higher and higher. Or if it's dropping, it would just keep getting higher because it just keeps moving. But because price is going back and forth right here, the ATR is super low. And that's why we try to keep it at above 15. It hasn't been above 15 for like pretty much the entire session. And and it just gets lower. So now it's at 12. So as you guys can see, the market that we're currently trading in is pretty frustrating to say the least. It's 721 right now. I was hoping for some more movement. It is Monday. So I was expecting, I would even be okay with like some crazy movement, right? I'd like to see some spikes. I'd like to see some big rejections, reversals, etc. But realistically, price is just going sideways. And this is like the thing that I don't like about it happening on a Monday is that this is how the market's probably going to move for the rest of the week. So just expect a slow market, a lot of ranging, a lot of consolidating. But I could say that, if you're patient enough, the entry will come to you. So I'm going to keep waiting here. I might even stay on till after 740 per usual, to wait for another opportunity that may come up. As long as the ATR picks up. If it hits 740 and the ATR drops down to like 10 ATR, then I'm going to call it a day. But if the ATR picks up, and there's some more direction that starts to move closer to 740, I'll stay closer to 8 for our live session. So if you guys are not familiar, if you guys are new here, typically I trade until about 740 because that's when volatility dies down. The thing is, the volatility has been dead for the entire session, so the volatility might pick up a little later in the session, and that's why I might stay a little later. But usually the volatility is high between 6:30 and 7:30. The first hour of market opens when the volatility is the highest, but it's been very, very low right now. And then typically around 8 o'clock is when the volatility gets pretty flat. That's because the East Coast goes on lunch, or they just take breaks, and the volatility just pretty much flattens out. And then it picks back up an hour or two later. But obviously right here, that's not the case. The volatility here has been pretty low all day. On top of that, there was no news for today, so it's kind of expected. There's no catalyst really pushing price around. Same with tomorrow. So tomorrow we have low impact news pre-market and earlier in the session. Then we have economic optimism, which is medium impact. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is just going to be slow. So if anything, we might have a slow week until Wednesday, or actually not Wednesday, till Thursday, because Thursday is where the actual high impact news comes in. So every day is going to be pretty slow. It's going to be Fed speaking pretty much every day this week, regarding the Fed interest rate, inflation, etc. But not enough to really move the market. I don't even think Powell's speaking this week. Let me check. Yeah, Powell is not speaking this week. All the other Fed members are speaking, but not Powell. So be ready for a boring week, guys. Just a heads up. All right, so if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. This is kind of a down period right now, with regard to market volatility. So if you guys want me to answer anything, I can. I typically don't answer questions during the live, but yeah, Candace said calling it a day, nothing's really moving. See y'all tomorrow. Definitely, Candace. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Maria said pivots are saying don't trade. Exactly. Yeah. So you guys can see there's a lot of tools here. There's a lot of factors that will go into your analysis, right? The pivots over here are indicating that there's no trend. The trend meter down below is blue. This is indicating that there's no trend either. It's neutral. The divergence over here is not really shifting very much. It's kind of just going back and forth. The ATR here is even worse. You can see it's now at 11. This is pretty bad for like market open time. The ATR should be a lot higher. Like this is really, really low for market open. And like I said, the market will probably pick up, and you can see here it is starting to pick up a little bit, but I don't know for how long or if it'll be consistent. So we have a pending buy signal here. Here's our clean chart. Again, we're getting past the resistance level. So the thing that you want to look out for here is the fake out or the continuation. So look for price to push up. If price kind of sits around this area here, it's probably going to fake out and come back down. However, if price breaks above and it has some volatility really push up to the next level, then odds of it pushing up higher are very likely. And that's going to be more of a beneficial thing for us specifically, because I'm personally looking for a buy here. I would prefer to take buys here versus sells, because I do think the buyers are in control. Not really buyers because the retail is on the sell side, but I think the market makers are on the buy side, of course. So the retail traders here are currently selling. I don't know what's up with CNBC. This is another red flag. Like, why is CNBC not working? Right. But anyways, the retail sellers, the retail traders are on the sell side. You can see the overall trend here is still very bullish across the board. So for me personally, if I had an option to choose which direction I would like to trade in, it would be a buy because everything here is pointing towards a buy for me. It's just a matter of time until it actually, confirms. Because the trend here still hasn't confirmed. But I think if we get a buy signal, so what I would look for here personally is I would look for a buy signal to break past this area and then climb up. And I'd probably look for an entry somewhere up here away from opening price. Because at that point, price will be above this current range and onto this upper level up here, upper zone, basically. Okay, so there goes a rejection. You guys can see price is having a lot of trouble getting past this resistance level right here. 3 times now. So 1, 2, 3, price has tested it, and it has not had any luck getting past this upper level right here. Middle of May. Sucks that we have to deal with this during the middle of May. Let's take a look at our market from last year. So let's go to 2023. Let's check out May. March, April, May. So for May over here, I mean, I guess May wasn't like super busy. We had a win streak during May last year though. So you can see over here from May 2023, we actually had so we took 5 buys, 12 sells, 17 wins, 0 losses. During this month, we took a lot of high-level momentum scalps, liquidity pushes. I mean, that's pretty much it. It looks like for the most part, we took mainly high-level momentum scalps and liquidity pushes. So if you look over here, that's pretty much all that came up. There was 3 liquidity pushes that came up. They were all full TPs. I don't think there was any high-low. Actually, there was. So there's one right here. There was a higher high. This candle broke and closed below it, but it was at the session, so it wouldn't have been taken. However, if you did take it, it would have hit in your TP right there for the TP. I guess it looks about right. So this right here too. So there's a higher high, this momentum signal broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2. Again, it was at opening price. So it was a bunch of red flags, but it would have hit full TP there. So, I mean, if that's the case, then, maybe we should be looking for some high-level momentum scalps. Yeah. So there's one entry that came up right here, higher high, sell signal broken close past pivots 1 and 2, full TP. Same with, there was no entry here. There's no entry here. Same with this one, there's a higher high, sell signal broken close past pivots 1 and 2, full TP right there. And then on top of that, liquidity pushes. So this is why it's important that you guys go back and take a look at what we did last year, because this is all we took last year. We took liquidity pushes and high level momentum scalps, and they all pretty much worked out perfect. So I don't know, maybe that's what we have to focus on. Regardless of the fact, we'll keep looking for any opportunities that may come up, but the volatility right now is just very, very low. So it looks like this right here could have been a, I mean, I wouldn't have taken it. The volatility is too low, but it looks like this green candle right here would have been a momentum divergence. I don't know if anybody was following that. So we had a sell signal right here. The divergence was bearish. Price retraced up, and then it swung back on this green candle right here. It's kind of close to the sessions though, so I don't know if it's something that I would personally have messed with. Let me see, my replay button isn't working. It seems like a lot of things aren't working today. TradingView is kind of, when I first opened TradingView this morning, it wasn't working for me either. And then, okay, let's go back to this green candle. And then CNBC is not working. Okay, so here's the setup. We had a sell signal right here. Divergence was bearish. Divergence became bullish right here, and then it came back down and it crossed over on this green candle right here. So this would have been a sell for momentum divergence. Again, it's not something I would take because it's like right at the sessions. But this is pretty much the setup that we would have been looking for, something like that right there. And it would have came right back down to full TP. But it was touching the session, so obviously not one I'd mess with. Just looking back to see if there was anything here that we could have possibly have taken. All right, so price is back down below over here. Yeah, Daniel said a high level momentum with divergence confirmation could be a good summer strat. Yeah, I agree. Like this over here is actually really good, right? Like this is the confluence that you just mentioned. There's a higher high right there. This here broke and closed back past it, and the divergence happened as a really nice confluence. Same with this entry over here too. Same thing. So that could be something for us to look towards, maybe for the summer because the volatility is going to be pretty low. It's going to be very similar to this. So this type of market movement, market conditions, these are like summer conditions where the market's just super slow and it sits within the range like this. So you can see right here, prices now, it's filled the range basically. Prices range, it's been ranging between this area and now it's come back to this lower level. So this isn't necessarily a bad thing because we can still look for entries down here. The only problems that we have the sessions right here, which is the red flag that we want to avoid, but we can still look for some possible entries down here below. Right. So what I would personally look for here next is I would look for some retracement. Or I mean, you could even look for a high level momentum scalp here if anybody's looking to take it. We have a lower low here. The only problem is that the ATR is so low. ATR is currently at 11. For a high level momentum scalp, you need a pretty decent ATR. You're going to want price to push through. Right. There's no liquidity that's nearby. So liquidity is pretty much done with. We got price breaking past the lower level right here. This could be a possible high-low scalp. I mean, I wouldn't really mess with it. I think there was another high-low scalp over here too. Yeah, the previous high-low scalp over here already hit. It was kind of it went into some drawdown, but then it came back down and it hit. Okay, what I would look for here next is I would possibly look for a divergence. So you guys can see how price is kind of diverging through here. I would look for a retracement and possibly a continuation back down. Let's see. And the volatility is so low. So the divergence would have happened if the volatility was higher. Like if you would have had some volatility here where price is kind of just going back and forth, there would be some divergence here because you expect price to kind of retrace up, provide a buy signal, come back down with a sell signal, and then actually break below. But because the volatility is so low, like it's going to take a long time for it to actually swing up and then come back down. It's currently 7:35 right now. Yeah, Daniel said sucks that the sessions is in the middle of the range. MPS setup, but the ATR is way too low. Yeah, I agree. The ATR definitely is way too low right now. See, what you look for here next is is a possible high-low scalp into momentum divergence because price can break below this point here. And if there's a divergence there, that could set up for a high-low, like a high-low scalp plus a momentum divergence. And I wish there was a way to make this bigger or like clear. All right, so not really much going on here. So what I would look for here is I would look for like a stronger, like a big red candle. If we were to get a big red candle here, the divergence would just diverge, like the momentum would diverge very strongly. And then we'd have the high level momentum scalp over here as well. Or sorry, not high level momentum. We just have a high low scalp that break below. That's what I'm looking for. Like I want a big red candle to come up here because I want the divergence to be pretty clear. Like I want a big, strong red candle. It doesn't have to be huge, but big enough to like close. Like price can go sideways here and they'll just stomp down to this area right here and close, and then we'll have a high-low scalp. Plus the divergence here will be pretty obvious. Nick said to drag it up. So I know you can do that, Nick. Obviously, I know how to do that, but you can't see the rest of the divergence, right? Because it's kind of, you're focusing on just that one area right there. So I mean, I guess technically I could drag this up a little higher. I don't know. That's probably what you meant, right? You meant to drag this up. But I would have to drag up the trend meter too. And it takes away from the actual chart. I just wish there was a way to like put this on the chart. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I didn't even think about that. Thanks, Daniel. That actually makes more sense. So Daniel just mentioned the labels here. That actually makes way more sense because we don't really care about like how it looks here. We just care if it's above or below. So thanks, Daniel. Daniel over here just mentioned that if you look at the labels over here, if the green is above the red, obviously the green's above the red here, but if the red's above it, that's how you know it crosses. So I didn't even think about that. That's actually the best way to look at it because you'll know for sure if it's above or below. Okay, cool. So now we know. All right, we got price pushing up a little bit. This is the area of consolidation down here. I'm surprised the ATR is so low. If you guys look at the ATR, it's currently at 10 right now. I think this is probably the lowest we've seen in a while. Last week was actually pretty decent. It was like high, like in the 30s. And then today it's in the 10s. And I was hoping for that buy signal. I wanted a buy signal to come up right here and then have it come back down. But we didn't get that buy signal. It came up right here, then it disappeared. Because personally, I would like to see it push up a little higher and then come down from here. So we have all this space to trade in this area right here. And this range is like say, for example, if we entered a trade right here, I'd want to trade within this area right here. Or even if it's below, like I would do that too. But we'll see. All right, 7:40, guys. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit longer. Maybe the volatility would pick up as we get closer to 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'll just hang out for a little bit longer, see if there's any opportunities here that may come up. Looks like the volatility is picking up a little bit. Not a crazy amount, but a little bit. Preferably, I'd like to see that buy signal close. So like exactly what I said earlier, I'd like the buy signal to close, come up a little higher, maybe even come up to the sessions, fake out around this area, and then come back down, right? That would be perfectly fine. Or if price wants to climb up higher and keep climbing, that's cool too. I just need price to move. it's just kind of pointless. Like where it's at right now, there's nothing that we can do. Kind of curious to see how my long-term stocks are working today too. Okay, cool. So they're actually all hitting. So looking at my long-term stock investments, they're all pretty decent today. I mean, they're not very strong, but they're decent. I have holdings in Cisco, JP Morgan, Nike, AT&T, and Verizon. I typically hold on to AT&T and Verizon for dividends. JP Morgan's been doing pretty good though. All right. So we have that pending buy signal. Buy signal finally closed. All right, so we got the buy signal here, guys. This is exactly what I was looking for. So I'm going to look for the fake out possibly. I'm going to look for price to push up a little bit, maybe fake out and then come back down. Or if price continues to climb up, that's cool too. But like I said, the volatility here is too low, so I don't think a climb up is going to be very useful for us because it's going to have to push. And if there's no push there, it's going to be kind of pointless, right? I'd rather just have it correct back down. All right, we got some team profits over here from Kenneth. Nice work, Kenneth. So Kenneth locked in, it looks like one or two trades, total profit of 1,460 on his main account here, and then 920 on the other account. So he locked in about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 6 accounts, so we're going to say well over 4,000 for the day. Nice work, Kenneth. Looks like he took the liquidity pushes from earlier today. That's pretty much all that really came up. There's like 3 liquidity pushes that came up right here. Yeah, not much else. All right, so we're getting price coming back down right here. We would need a sell signal. So the sell signal here, or if it happens here or on the next candle, it could be fine because it could start setting up for a breakout V3 continuation. Possibly a breakout V3 continuation in line with a high-low scalp, maybe even a momentum divergence scalp. I mean, it's really just sitting within this range. So here's our clean chart. You guys can see I marked up these zones a long time ago, and price is still respecting these zones. I mean, pretty much as it was earlier. Yeah, Nick said triple confluence if momentum crosses the lower low upon close. Yeah. So this could be a possible triple confluence as well. I just don't really see much movement here. So we have the sell signal that's currently pending. It's not looking like it's going to close below. I don't even know if it'll even close. So it didn't even close right there. We might get another pending sell signal here on this next candle. So see, this would have been nice if this here would have closed with the sell signal, and then this over here would have been the breakout V3 continuation. That would have been nice. So here we go. As price breaks and closes below, this could be a possible triple confluence. Again, I don't know if this will close because you can see how price, it gets low to that point and then it kind of just fizzles out. Let me zoom out a little more. So this could be a possible triple confluence right here, guys. So I'll watch it right here. If it closes the triple confluence, I'll possibly take it. I've got to watch it though. I got to see how it closes. Because yeah, I don't want to get in too early. So 3, 2, 1, triple confluence. So I watched right there close into it. It's probably a little slow right now. I gotta watch it though. If it goes down to lower, I mean, if it hits, because I don't think my entry came up at perfect entry point. And this low volatility is killing me. Let's see what the TP is set right here. So the TP is currently at 14. I'm gonna make some. Oh no, mine's okay. So it actually met the criteria. Well, it filled where it was supposed to. So I'll just leave it as is. I actually got in at a little bit better entry, like 1 point above. I'm gonna set an alert there so I could just let it alert me when it comes down. So this right here is a triple confluence. It also lines up with a breakout V3 continuation. And then on top of that, it has a momentum divergence. It's just the volatility is like super, super low right now. So it's taking a while for it to push through. Typically the volatility, there you go, full TP. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick, for the heads up there. Because I know you were looking for the triple confluence on this previous candle, but it happened on the next one. So I wouldn't have taken it if it happened from up here. It was a little too high, but it happened right here on this next one. This is why I was okay with it, because everything here just kind of lined up. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, guys, right? So if you just sit tight and wait, the entry is going to happen. It's going to take some time, but it's going to happen. So that's what we did. We sat around for a bit. We didn't make any dumb choices. We waited for those entries to come through. I typically don't like to take entries when they happen like this off the momentum, but it was a triple confluence. So like this thing lined up perfectly, right? Triple confluence, the momentum divergence lined up. We had a follow-up over here with the breakout V3 continuation. There's just so many confluences there to follow through with, right? So yeah, guys, like I said, the slow week, like expect a slow week. So you might have entries like this pretty much every day this week where you're just gonna have to wait and be patient, but the entry is gonna come to you. You're gonna have a clean entry, at least one clean entry each day. It's just gonna be a matter of time until it comes up and it actually plays through. So nice work, guys. And thanks again to Nick over here for the heads up, because I wasn't even looking for a triple confluence until Nick mentioned it. It didn't come up on the candle that he was looking for over here, but it did come up on this one. And it was actually a better setup because it lined up with so many other confluences on top of that. So, all right, there we go. Finally, the entry for the day, triple confluence. It's the first time well, not the first time, but the first time that in a while that it actually got me in at good price. Typically, it gets me in like crappy price, like a little too low, a little too high. But it worked out perfect here. So, all right, guys, great way to kick off the trading week. Let me just take a screenshot of my profits real quick before I wrap this up. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. So we can wrap this all up pretty soon. Yeah, Nick said, okay, now he's done. He lied. All right, Sadie, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Great profits today. Yeah, definitely. Oscar said patience is key, 100%. Yeah, CJ said, I think volatility is low because everyone is still drunk from Cinco de Mayo and couldn't make it to the market open, right? That could be the case. I guess, yeah, technically this week's a holiday week too because of Cinco de Mayo. It makes sense. I know we laugh about it sometimes, but it does make sense. Whenever it's like spring break or anything like that, people are just starting out trading because they're on vacation or they're doing something, or I don't know. Hey, it couldn't be me though. I'm looking to make profits. I don't care if it's a holiday, a weekend, whatever. I'm always looking for, like, I want to make profits in the market. So the profits here will always come first before I go and like let that screw up my week. But yeah, trade over here came through, played out perfect. Looking over here at our team profit, so we got Andreas over here, total profit of 1,960 for the day. Nice work, Andreas, all wins. We got Casey over here, total profit of 390 for the day, all wins on his funded account. Nice work, Casey. Here are my accounts over here. So I locked in 340 on my personal account. A little bit of some slippage there. I was supposed to make about 400. Here is my main account. I locked in 1,000, so I got the full TP on that one. And then for the rest of my accounts over here, I locked in about 800. So not too bad. I'll add it up real quick so that you guys know the totals for the day and the week so far. So 800 times 19 plus 1,000 plus 340. So I made it 16,540 for the day so far and for the week. So there goes my profits for the day and the week so far, plus 16,540 for the day and plus 16,540 for the week. There we go. Decent profits for us here to kick off the week. Again, like I've said in the past, guys, Monday is a great day to set the tone, right? So I'm glad that we locked in a win this morning, because now you feel confident for the rest of the week. Now you understand that the market is going sideways, so expect to wait for that perfect entry to come up. But when the perfect entry comes up, don't be scared to take it, because if everything lines up and it's proper, then that trade's probably going to hit. So go into this week feeling confident, excited, ready to lock in some more profits, but don't go into overly confident where you're going to be taking some dumb entries. Only take entries that kind of line up, and try to follow my analysis, because I'm going to be looking only for those high quality entries. I'm not going to take anything random or dumb, or I'm not going to force any trades here. I'm just going to look for those entries that line up with my analysis. And when they do line up, I'm going to take them. So, all right, guys, other than that, I think that's about it for today. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session.